our oceans, our coasts, our tropical forests, and our natural environs. Those are irreplaceable. We can retrofit energy on houses that were built 40 years ago. We cannot reinvent the species that we are losing every day, and we cannot reinvent the natural environs that we're losing. We cannot reinvent the fish that are no longer in the oceans that Sylvia studies.
I'm an entrepreneur that transformed a big part, a lousy part of Milan into a nice and enjoyable place to live. But I'm not coming here just to talk about my entrepreneurial history, but because I turned my attention to the protection of the environment. And in fact, I came here in the United States to make a proposal, more than other. A new protocol to be signed by the most important cities for a better urban environment. You all know about the incredible gap between what can be done and what public administrators around the world are doing. Far too little, at least in Europe. Good news, 2 points. People are available to change behavior at the condition not to be alone. Another good news, solutions are easy to implement, cheap, and would give a better life to individuals. But our future lies in the hands of public administrators that, in fact, in Europe are often inefficient. They generally invest the maximum to get the minimum, slow, unable to plan also in the long run. They rarely consider more than 5 years, and not global at all. In my opinion, to be efficient, saving the planet means that we should give priorities. And the reduction of energy consumption by urban residents, smaller cars, homes more energy efficient, would result in multiple advantages. A better quality of life with regard to health issues and life expectancy, since CO2 emissions are often accompanied by smog that kills people. Reduced traffic and money saved directly, because if you use a smaller car, you save money. And reducing traffic and cleaner air would encourage the use of even smaller and better ways of transportation, like bicycles. Of course, not in Miami because it's so big, but in Milan, I must tell you that a bicycle is fantastic, if the air would be cleaner. Also, reducing pollution can provide a solution to the sedentary lifestyle. You save even more money because you have not to go to the gym. To be global means that if the problems are common to most of the cities of the world, CO2 emissions, smog and traffic, and it's absolutely necessary to set up a protocol with common rules and guidelines to be applied simultaneously in a number of cities and to serve as an example to others. We should encourage energy savings, use more efficient air conditioning systems, and implement carbon trading.
And I'd like to explain you the way we are facing environment and sustainability concerning public transportation in our city, Porto Alegre. We want same people, but less buses and less emission. And we want to do this in a new framework, in the framework of a new financial model, including a PPP, initials that mean a public-private partnership, a partnership built under the rules of the new Public-Private Partnership Act, recently approved in the Brazilian Parliament, in the Brazilian Congress. Sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. This is not a political or ideological issue. This is overall a moral imperative.
The work done by the former Vice President Al Gore, which has the credit to bring the whole attention from the world about, in his speeches, in his work, in his movie about global warming. And thanks to him, he played a very important role to give this kind of awareness. So we have this awareness. Sometimes we forget that 75% of the problems of sustainability, of the problems of carbon emissions, are related to the cities. And we are not focusing, okay, besides the mayors that they're giving a great example, we're not focusing on the problem of the concept of the city. And that strikes me, and I'm very anguished because we're staying and not trying to understand what is the role of the cities. There is no culture about how the conception of the city could help. And my feeling is the more you are working on cities, the more you can help the sustainable issue. I'm obsessed about the idea how to teach children on sustainable issue. Because the children can teach their parents, and that means a lot. There's a lot of things you can do, and you can help on sustainability in less than 2 years. I would say, I would start with just 5 commandments that you can. First of all, 1, use less your car. I'm not saying don't use your car. Use less, at least in your routine itinerary. Of course, the cities, they'll have to provide, cities, governments, they'll have to provide a good alternative for public transport. The second commandment is separate your garbage. The third commandment is live closer to your work or bring work closer to home. And so the fourth commandment is trying to understand that sustainability is an equation between saving and wasting. So the less you waste, the more sustainable you are. And the fifth is reusing. It's multi-use. We cannot afford to having an arena being used for 10 times a year. So we have to have a multi-use approach. The main question is trying to get from the city a structure of living and working together. When you have a structure of living and working together, you can have a good public transport. We can use a system, it's not perfect, okay, innovation is starting. That's the key issue. We have to start, and if we'll need more sophisticated systems, well, we'll go into it.